Customer has to analyze the brand equity. He has to first of all have a comprehensive understanding of what is brand equity. So for that he has to review all the papers which have been published in the quality journals with regard to brand equity. So once he goes through all the papers related to the brand equity, then only he can actually finalize the survey instrument, the questionnaire. He can finalize the questionnaire. In the questionnaire, then he would write down all the questions, maybe in the form of a statement. He would ask the customers about their profile, which means their gender, their education, their age, their income, and different other things which are important for his study. And then he would start asking them the questions. The questions would fall under different categories, under the quality, under awareness, association, trust, commitment, and loyalty. And then after finalizing these questions, then he would also decide about the sampling techniques. Now, in briefly, we would talk about the sampling techniques. Sampling techniques basically talks about how to contact the sample respondents, because companies, they have large number of customers, and it is not possible for the companies to contact each and every customer. So what companies they do? Companies, they draw a sample out of the population. So population is the total number of customers who are buying or who have bought the products of the company. So in this case, companies should also brand X, the company with the brand X can think of contacting those people who are not buying the product right now, who used to buy it in the past, but now they have abandoned brand X, because these people they have switched from brand X to brand Y or to brand Z. Now these switchers means those who have switched the brand. These people are the people to whom company intends to contact. Big question before the company here is how to contact the sample respondents, how to contact the right respondent, how to contact them, how should we approach them. If the list of switchers is large, then companies, they can always restrict to a number of 250, 300, so that company would get a fairly good idea of why they have switched the brand, why they are not buying brand X. So initially we started with the question why, then we jumped to what, and now we are talking about how to contact them, how to contact the sample respondents. How to contact them means providing an answer to the question that which sampling technique would be most appropriate. Which sampling technique would be most appropriate? So there are various probability sampling techniques and non-probability sampling techniques. As a genuine researcher, as a serious researcher, you should always try to make use of the probability sampling techniques, and the biggest advantage which you would draw would be to generalize the findings of your study. If you are out of the population of, let us say, 2500, if you are contacting 300 respondents, 300 customers, you would be able to generalize the findings based on 300 respondents for the remaining 2200 customers only if you have made use of probability sampling technique. So once you have decided about which probability sampling technique would be most appropriate, most economical, most relevant for your study, then you would try to contact them. And then it is always better to personally contact them, so that beside requesting them to fill up the questionnaire, you can always ask them certain other related questions, and they would be happy to answer those research questions, other related research questions, right? Once you have extracted the data from the 250 respondents or 300 respondents, then you have to analyze the data by making use of suitable statistical techniques. By making use of suitable statistical techniques, you would analyze the data. Now, companies do not make use of multivariate techniques. The most appropriate technique has to be used. Sometimes what happens is, because if we are simply finding out the relationship between two variables, so we can do it with the help of correlation. If we want to know what is the mean satisfaction of customers towards brand X, brand Y and brand Z, this score we can obtain by making use of mean, that is an average. Average would tell us that in whose case the satisfaction level is higher. Is it in case of brand X, brand Y or brand Z? So it depends upon the objectives of your study. It depends upon the hypothesis which you have stated, that is the assumptions which you have made. So based on the assumptions which you have made, then you need to test those hypotheses, and then you have to check whether the hypotheses they are accepted or they are rejected. So once the hypothesis testing is done, then the researcher would conclude from the study, based on the findings of the study. Then the researcher would conclude that why people are not preferring, why do they not favor brand X, whereas while they prefer brand Y or Z. This was the research question which was posed in the initial step, first step. Now in the last step, the researcher has to provide an answer to it. Why? Is it because of the brand quality? Is it because of the brand awareness? Is it because of brand association, brand trust, brand commitment, or brand loyalty? What has actually triggered? What has demotivated the customers? What has stopped the customers from buying brand X? In other words, what factors have motivated the customers to buy brand Y or Z? Why customers? Now, because that was the question, why customers are not buying brand X? In other words, why customers are buying more of brand Y or Z? So now finally the individual researcher would provide an answer to why. Why are we doing this? Why the brand X? Why the brand X is not favored by the customers? Why the customers are doing this? For this, the individual researcher would always compare the mean score obtained by each attribute or each dimension of brand equity of brand X with brand Y and with brand Z. Then the researcher would provide the solution to the question that on account of the quality, brand X is not favored. That on account of the brand trust, brand X is not favored. Why brand Y and Z they are being favored? Because of the quality which are offered to the customers, because of the trust which they repose in brand Y and Z. So the researcher would identify that these are the parameters. These are the parameters based on which the customers are not buying brand X, whereas they are preferring brand Y, either brand Y or brand Z. So with this the research would not conclude. What the researcher has to do further, he has to provide an implications. Implications means now what is the takeaway for the managers from this study, from this research? How they can improve the quality, how they should improve the quality of the brand X, how they can inculcate trust among the customers so that they do not switch, so that they do not leave the brand X, so that they prefer brand X. So what are the implications of your study? So those implications have to be stated properly. So now when I have to conclude about the marketing research and the process, marketing research basically, why marketing research is important? Marketing research is important because the market is changing, is changing rapidly. Because these changes are taking place so frequently that the companies, they have to update their information regarding the changes in the perceptions, attitude, behavior of the customers. When there are changes in the perceptions of the customers, those perceptions would change their intentions to buy. Those intentions would further lead to change in their attitude to favor a particular brand and leave the other brands. These changes in the attitude favoring a brand and rejecting the other brands would finally lead to an action on the part of the customer, that finally they would behave. So there is a chain, and the companies or the individual researchers, they try to analyze this chain. That is the change in the perceptions which has led to a change in the intentions, which has subsequently resulted into change in the attitude, and these changed attitudes, they have resulted into changed behavior. Marketers, they are always interested in the behavior. Behavior means the action taken by the customer, which means customers have not bought your brand. This buying shows that they have behaved against buying your brand. They have behaved in favor of buying the brand of your competitors. So this is the marketing research problem. Why? Because it centers around the changes in the needs and the wants of the customers. Because it revolves around the changes in the expectations, requirements of the customers. Because a company or an individual is confronted with a question starting with why. The subsequent answers to what, how, when, where can be provided. The answers to these what, when, how, where can be provided by the researchers only when they are clear about the research question. That is why. Why sales have come down? Why advertisement is not effective? Why brand X is not favored? Why customers are switching? Why customers are reluctant to buy your products? Why your market share has gone down? Why customers are not satisfied with your product? So in order to provide answer to these questions, either an individual researcher or an individual company, they have to conduct marketing research, they have to contact the customers, they have to contact them, they have to discuss the problem with them, they have to extract other related information from them so that they can provide a solution to the question which they have posed. So this answer to the research question would be of great help to the company only when the research study provides a proper solution, it provides a viable solution, and it also offers meaningful implications of the research. Meaningful implications means that where the researcher provides the useful insights, because these managers they may not understand the statistics which you have used in your study. They are not concerned about the sampling techniques which you have used. They are concerned about, and their only concern is what is relevant for them is that what is the solution to the problem. What is the solution to the problem? How to implement the suggestions which you have given in your study. The suggestions which you would give in your study have to be implemented. But how to go about implementing those suggestions? Simply by stating that the company should do such and such thing, managers they ought to do these things, or they need to do these things is not sufficient. You have to provide a proper procedure for implementing those suggestions which you have given. So suggestions, they are important for them. So the basic things, two things which are important for the company is the research question which they have given to you, and the second important thing is the solution which you are providing to the company, because they have engaged the researchers to provide an answer to the research question, to the problem which they are facing right now in their company. And what they are interested to look into is the solution which you are providing to them, the viable solution, and what are your suggestions to go about implementing those suggestions. What you have suggested to them, that how to implement. Basically suggestions are also not so important for them. What is important is how to implement those suggestions, which means the implications of your research. It is not that you have provided them with a solution that the brand equity, let it be that the brand equity of X, or the quality of brand X has to be improved. If you would say that if you are suggesting that the quality of brand X has to be improved, if you are not suggesting them that which aspect of the product quality has to be improved, how a company would go about improving the quality? So these vagueness has to be removed. Everything has to be crystal clear. Your suggestions should be implemented by the company. Your suggestions can be implemented only when the company understands that what is the mechanism, what is the procedure which you have provided to them to go about improving the quality of their product. So the implementation part of your suggestions, they are very much relevant, they are very much required by the company, because they may not be the statistician, they may not understand these techniques. What they can better understand is the suggestions and how to go about implementing those suggestions. So with this, the discussion on marketing research and the process involved in marketing research, which means the steps involved in conducting marketing research, gets over. So basically what you have to understand is what is marketing research, why marketing research is important, which means the importance of marketing research. The third important topic, which is very much relevant for the marketing student, is to understand the steps, how to conduct, steps involved in conducting the marketing research. So first you define what is marketing, then you define what is research, then combine both the marketing and the research, which means marketing research. Then you talk about the relevance of marketing research, that is the importance or the significance, why marketing research is important, why is it significant. Discuss about few points under the importance of marketing research. Then you start talking about the steps involved in the marketing research process. With this, the discussion on marketing research and marketing research process gets over. All the very best. Happy learning, students. Thank you very much.